Good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is Joe Scarice, your co-founder and co-host of the Creative Bird Strategies House and podcast live every Sunday morning, 9 a.m., providing education, networking, and strategy. I'm going to first get some people in here and get started here in just a few minutes in the clubhouse room. So we're going to invite a bunch of people in and get rocking and rolling. What a unbelievable yesterday, Saturday. We had a great tour. We'll discuss about that in just a few minutes. And what a schedule we have in April, meeting and greeting real estate professionals and agents and services throughout the country. In April, just unbelievable events coming up. So we'll go over that in just a few minutes. One, I want to start off thanking our sponsors, of course. I want to thank Mr. Yerdal Perkins of Perkatech, who provides social media strategy and architecture to real estate professionals throughout the country. I want to thank MB Capital, where I'm an unsecured business line of credit referral partner, providing unsecured business lines of credit, B2B, or for real estate professionals to get in their industry. I want to thank Miss Linda Pelagas of Realty 411, who's been just a great asset of people being involved with my circle, providing a national publication called Realty 411, as well as national events throughout the country. And she's been a part of my circle for several years now and been a great add to what we're doing uh, as well. Give me one second here. I want to thank um, TCS Property Management, where I have my real estate licenses providing property management in various markets throughout the country. I want to thank um, Lendmark Capital, where I'm a senior loan analyst, providing asset-based lending nationwide for real estate investors, DSCR, fixed to rent, fixed to flip, new construction, multifamily, mixed use, single family through four family. We are here to provide you insight and advisory as a real estate professional throughout the country, nationwide. And our discussion today, which I also put up as a poll on LinkedIn. So if we're not connected on LinkedIn, by all means, please go on there and give your vote to the poll. Transformational moments in real estate investing. Every one of the discussions we have now, I put it as an article blog out and typically as a poll for people to vote on as well. So I really hope a lot of you are connected to me on LinkedIn, where you can provide your opinion on the voting of that poll that we put out there on all these podcasts that we do. We're hovering close to 100 podcasts. We're at roughly 95 right now. So we're moving along real well with you know uh, our educational programming here. We are probably scheduled out till about mid-August, close to September at this point. So very excited about the educational platform that we're providing here. So let's do a little recap from yesterday. We had the rehab caravan tour. So for anybody that was able to make it onto our rehab caravan tour in a Southern New Jersey tip, whoa, we went through some great properties, discussed some great opportunities, had breakfast and lunch together. We spent from 9 to 3 just going in inside and outside of properties. I'm actually going to be placing an offer on one of the properties. I was so taken back by the property. I really got excited about the opportunity. So I'm going to put my numbers together and put a proper offer in. Very excited about this opportunity. So I'm not really big into single family through four family, more into the multifamily space, but this property specifically caught my eye based on location and just the bones of the property were really great. So we're gonna have some video clips from the tour, the caravan tour, sometime in the next week, all put together by Yardell Perkins of Perkatech, and then we'll get that pushed out for a lot of people to take a look at and review. So we're going into April. Well, this week alone, we're at the last week of March, and there has been a slight lull in inventory and movement on identifying properties to get under contract. I've been noticing that. I just think it's a little low in the market, but rates have come down a little bit. Rates, came down about a full quarter. The Fed's not really doing much to impact the commercial space. I'm seeing rates right now between 6.75 and 6.875 on refinance without cash out, probably a little about the 6.875 to 7%. Um, for refinance. I see a lot of baiting and switching out there for some products out there, but right now, construction money is starting at 9.75, and DSCR money, for the most part, is starting at 6.375. But depending on credit score, the DSCR, the product, the experience of the borrower on the fixed to rent or fixed to flip side, that really will tell me leverage to property and pricing. And again, you want to have a 2-minute conversation to understand that, and that ties into a lot of the courses that we're offering on underwriting and on understanding how to price your deals out and putting deals together correctly. So the month of April is just an unbelievable month. We are diving in with a lot of collaboration with the sub two community, as well as our own events through Elite Dealmakers. But this week coming up, I'll be in Richmond, Virginia for the Elite Dealmaker 3-day event. I will be meeting and greeting a lot of the other dealmaker uh, leaders that are holding events throughout the country, as well as I'm going to be on a panel, I think, of some sort about the leaders and what we're doing and how to expand our business and our presence through the events that we're holding. I'm proud to say that Elite Dealmakers for me, we're going to be in North Jersey, South Jersey, Lehigh Valley, and Philadelphia, and we are actually in talks for Connecticut as well. So we're putting that together, hopefully sometime by the end of the next week or so, if it comes together real nice. But some events that I want you to kind of be aware of if you're in my market. We have a Lead Dealmaker South. We have a mentoring workshop this Monday night with Joe Martella and Marcus Williams. It's called Dinner Deals and Masterminding at the Haddon Heights Tap Room. Then we get into April. We're first Monday in South Jersey, second Monday in Philadelphia. We have a sub two meeting the first Saturday. Second Saturday, another sub two meeting. The first one's in Union, New Jersey. The second one's in King of Prussia. Then the third Saturday of the month, which I think is going to be one of the bigger events of the month, we're going to be in New York City at 110 Fifth Avenue at the Compass corporate office. We're going to go full blown underwriting course for 2 hours with about 200 people. It's 1 to 4. It's free to register. So I would highly suggest registering because I think it will sell out. And then we have the second Wednesday of the month is Lehigh Valley. And then we're opening up Elite Dealmakers North Jersey and Jersey City third Tuesday of the month. So we've got a full-blown schedule. All this is posted on our websites or my social media platforms. So if you miss something, just shoot me an email. But we're also capping off the end of the month. We're going to be teaching another underwriting course in South Jersey on a Saturday down in Hadfield at the First American Title office. So we got multiple areas to one, get educated, two, be part of Elite Dealmakers, three, but meet and greet a lot of smart real estate investors throughout the country, locally here in the Northeast region. So I'm speaking also in Virginia on CE for real estate agents and also Rhode Island. I'll be announcing the Rhode Island CE course that I'm presenting on sometime in the next week. We're just trying to hammer that out as well. But the CE courses are expanding on. We'll probably be doing some presentations in Florida as well. So keep an eye. They'll all be announced through my LinkedIn or my Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. We have a full-blown social media company now working with Yardell in administrating updates on a day-to-day basis of all these events. So let's get into our discussion today. Transformational moments in real estate investing. Transformational moments for me, have you experienced a transformational moment in real estate investing is the first question I want to lay out to you. I mean, these moments are crucial in shaping and leading to growth, new opportunities, and strategic shifts. They could stem from pivotal decisions, market dynamics, and personal insights, or profound learning encounters. We're going to hopefully share some of the impactful transformational moments in real estate investing for you. And if anybody would like to raise their hand and participate in this, is a little different direction, but transformational moments in real estate investing could be a difference maker in success or failure. And sometimes failures turn out to be really great successes. So, I'm going to put some major transformational moments in real estate investing that might, trigger, a statement or a discussion about this today. Because I think this market is is bringing together teams of experts and strategy discussions more than ever. So I think these times of having these type of podcasts and incitement, we're not here to hard sell anybody. We're here just to provide insight and educate one another. So the number one transformational moment in my career, as thinking about, was my first deal closed. What does it mean? From a lending perspective, from a real estate transaction perspective, then multiple first moments in real estate. Also realizing the power of leverage, whether your credit score is 800 or credit score is 700, there's obviously a difference in power of leverage, available funds out there. And, the better the credit, the better the circumstances, the better leverage you have. Understanding also market cycles and understand what type of market cycle we're in right now. Are we into the massive reset? Is it going to be a soft landing, a hard landing, a medium landing? Is all this fraud that they're finding through the government going to eventually trickle down and impact our bottom line in a great way? Are jobs really coming back into the United States, which will change migration and values and properties and DSCR and rents? Experience a major loss or setback. I obviously am a stroke survivor, May 15th, 2019. That was a setback, but I feel like it was a major wake-up call to, one, live a much more holistic and healthy life, and really focus in on accountability. And then there's the shift of active passive investing. That owning that physical property, does that work for you, or should you shift into more of a syndication type of environment, or be part of a capital raise? And that might be for certain people, and it's not for everybody, but it's not, it's for some people that they don't want to get their hands so dirty. And then maybe the first major renovation you had or development project that you ever were involved with, like a gut to the studs. How did it go for you? Did it go bad, good? And then building your network of reliable professionals. That could be the best thing that ever happened to you, or kind of gets a little annoying at times, being such a well versed networker. Me meeting so many people on a day-to-day basis, and people reaching back out to me for introductions and follow-ups and follow-throughs. It's a matter of staying on top of all that. And then being a real estate landlord, the mastering of property management, whether you're going to self-manage or you're going to allow property management companies to, maintenance your properties on your behalf. You got to think about what that difference is and how does that feel right out of the gate. And then creating a real estate investment system, like a CRM, text messaging, follow-ups with people that you've met, the social media aspect to all of it. We've taken a much more serious approach to social media. I've had multiple meetings with Yardell and Percatech, and how we need to be present on a consistent basis. And I think we're mastering that. We're finding our mistakes and finding our successes. And we're finding out who is really doing things and who say they're doing things when it comes to social media. And you're probably seeing more of an outbound marketing for events recently, because I've taken a much more serious approach to letting people know where we are and who we are and what we're doing. Diversifying your investment strategies. Is it all about single family? Is it all about 5 units? Is it all about 2 units? Is it about mixed use? I mean, what is your diversification to investment strategies for yourself or your clients? Recognizing the importance of financial education. We are the only clubhouse room that provides CE courses for licensed real estate agents, understanding investment financing, understanding trends in the market, understanding how to wholesale as a real estate agent. And there's many more courses as well that we offer. We're offering a short sale course for real estate agents. We're offering a sub-2 course for real estate agents. And we are definitely the only clubhouse room that offers that, and probably the only podcast that offers that. And we teach those courses for free. You invite us out, get a couple of people in the room. We'll do an educational presentation on that and provide CE for licensed real estate agents in pretty much any state in the country. And we also provide software and spreadsheets to better pencil your deals down to be the smarter investor. DSCR, capital budget, draw schedule, cash flow, cash on cash return spreadsheets, how to price your loans out software. All of that is provided in the courses that we have on Saturdays traditionally, every month. The shift in scarcity to the abundance mindset. What does that mean? That shift from scarcity to abundance mindset. Early in an investor's journey, there's often focus on limited opportunities and fear of competition. Over time, many investors shift to abundance mindset, believing that there's always more opportunity available. And the transformations, the mindset shift can lead to greater success because it allows for collaboration, taking more calculated risks, and seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. So where I see this is a lot of people, because I'm also wholesale and retail in the lending space, I see a lot of pushback from loan officers that, oh, I already have your product. Well, how do you know you have the best pricing? Just allow me to offer you another option on the wholesale side. Open up possibilities that we might be another viable option for you. We don't need to be adversarial. We could all be friends in this business. And I think over the past 7 to 8 years, I learned that by knowing the position I'm in the asset-based lending space, I can offer accessibility to success to not just the investor, but to the loan officer, to the real estate agent, to the other service providers within real estate. Transformational moments mark key turning points in investors' journey. They reflect growth, adaptation, and constant evolution of strategies and mindset. Each moment brings its new lessons and opportunities that help investors become more skilled, resilient, and successful in the real estate market. So we'll start off with Mr. Bob Chessick. Good morning and welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to transformational moments in real estate investing for you, and thoughts to the discussion this morning.
Good morning, Joe. I'm Bob Chessick, President of Chessman Corporation, setting up LLCs for people. Nothing I say is intended as legal advice. Well, I'm kind of the outsider listening in on this one because I am not personally a real estate investor. However, I'm sitting in a property that I now own up in Pennsylvania, my childhood home, and I can see that the journey is going to be before me when I look at the condition of the deck on the back of the house. I'm looking up at the ceiling right now in the room I'm in, and there's definitely where the nails and the boards are starting to pop a little bit. Seeing some other issues in the house itself with the hardwood floors and everything. So I take comfort that journey's coming ahead of me. But I really wish my business partner, Eric, were here because he bought a duplex right outside of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, not far from Scranton, and he and his wife renovated it. His father was a prominent home builder in the Scranton area up until he retired in the 90s. And but from working with other people that have been doing home renovations and all that, watching my cousins in South Jersey remodel their house when they bought it, and things like that. The one thing that just always stands out, the transformational moment, is the moment you open up, shall we say, you open up the wall or you open up that closet or something, and you just realize, oh crap, what have I done? And scenes from The Money Pit, just the movie The Money Pit, just play through your head. I can remember back, and I'm going to turn the clock back here to sometime in the early 90s. My grandfather and his sister owned a couple of cottages that were side by side at a lake outside of Scranton, and they built the properties. And essentially, my parents wound up inheriting the Money Pit when the properties were signed over to them. My grandfather, despite being a carpenter, was one of these just do the minimum to make it stand. And my parents had to dump about $60,000 into unexpected structural work and foundation work. As it turns out, my grandfather built the property. The corner over the kitchen was over an active spring, and this foundation was sinking into the spring. So $60,000 later, we propped it up, and when it came time for me to inherit it, I sold the property just because it was going to be too much to do after my father died. So what I always say is a transformational moment for anybody, and like I said, I take comfort in this fact this journey is still ahead of me, is it's going to be that moment when you run into the unexpected surprise and you realize you're probably going to have that moment where you think, oh God, what have I done? I'm over my head and everything. But there's that engineer in me and just the stubbornness in me from where I grew up, and Joe's probably muting and laughing right now when he hears me say that about myself, that you just have to push onward and get through it, because you're going to be smarter about it the next time and you're going to anticipate the next step. You can have all the checklists you want. You can have the perfect plan. You can have the blueprints, the designs, and I learned this as a former civil engineer. You can have everything looks perfect on paper. That checklist is there and everything. But until the moment you put the shovel in the ground, the truth is you're not going to know what you're walking into. And it's not so much the fact that you already know that something's going to go wrong. It's how you handle it that will define how you handle not just this project, but the next ones coming in the future. With that, Joe, I turn it back to you.
Well, thank you, Bob. And Bob, you've seen me have some transformational moments in health and work and life over the past 14 years. So you've seen my ups, downs, sideways, forwards, backwards, all that. And we're still moving through forward. But one thing I don't do is empty my laundry on Facebook, LinkedIn. Nobody really gives a shit about your personal opinion. They want insight. They want education. They want to feel comfortable to be around you. They don't want to hear about all the bad shit that's going on or you talking about third party stuff, right? So, for a transformational uh, a strategy for a real estate investor, keep your personal opinion to yourself. That would probably be the first suggestion, because nobody really wants to hear that rhetoric. They want to focus on what's in front of them, the opportunities that present them, the power team they're trying to constantly work on. They want to look good and brand themselves well online. The same for real estate agents. Nobody cares about your personal opinion about whatever. It just doesn't matter to a lot of people. They care about what you're going to provide to them from insight as a real estate source, your power team, and allowing them to kind of circle around and feel comfortable when they're buying something like a home, whether it's their home or their investment property. They're trusting you in advancing in the opportunity of real estate. And I think when you're embracing technology and automation, it could be good or bad. You need to be very careful how you present yourself on all your social media fronts, the consistency of it, what you're putting out there, and what people need to see and what they don't need to see. And then obviously understanding what a value add investment is. I don't, we went through 10 properties yesterday, and a lot of people that were in attendance didn't realize if you don't have experience, you shouldn't be taking on very lopsided renovations to create value adds because you're going to be in the same boat of trouble that some of these properties we went through that people went sideways on bad rehabs. Like you could see people buying these places, renovating them, and then running out of money, running out of circumstances, losing the contractor. We saw that probably about 3 of the 10 properties that we went to visit. The last property, which I'm making an offer on, it was just somebody that aged out and passed away, and it's now just sitting there and aging. But the bones of the house were amazing. The garage, the house, the bedrooms, the flooring. I'm excited about putting an offer in on this property, and then thinking about how to diversify your portfolio. Is it all about single families? A lot of people that were in attendance with this rehab tour yesterday. I want to buy a multifamily. Well, do you own one? No. Well, do you own any properties? No. Well, you gotta eat an elephant one bite at a time. So take baby steps, get a couple deals under your belt, 1 or 2 unit type of environment, then jump to the 4 unit, then jump to the 5 unit or 8 unit and build it out correctly. Because you go too quick, you're gonna get smacked, right? And leveraging social media impact investing is so important. What are you putting out there to create inbound lead traffic or inquiry? What type of articles are you posting or writing or sharing? What type of motivation are you putting out there in front of others? What type of video work are you doing clips with? What social media sites are you on? And all the information on all the social media sites correct? Okay, you can't be a real estate agent on one social media platform and be a zookeeper on the other. You got to be consistent across the board. And I finally, over the past year, have kind of rounded the wagons in the consistency of branding oneself on social media. Now we're just pushing forward with updates, events. I'm sharing other people's events. It's just one big party for me in the sense of networking, collaborating, and sponsoring events. Um, and sending it out through my CRM. We're going to get back into text messaging real soon, but I'm real cautious with that because I don't want to abuse that. but I'm really focused on being consistent on all the social media events: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads. All that is consistent. And then focusing on building a strong brand and marketing strategy. You don't need, listen, and initially, if you don't have a lot of money, you're going to have to do it yourself. But every daily time you have a closing, you should be putting 10 to 20% back toward marketing out of that profit that you got. You have to. Every time I have a closing, I put some money back into marketing, 10 to 20%. Always. All right. And if you want to talk about that, what that looks like, or if you need help promoting who you are, what you do, let me know. We're here to help you on that. If I could share anything on any of my platforms for you, by all means, I'm here to hopefully extend that. If you're here every week and part of this following here in the Creative Birth Strategies podcast and Clubhouse room, we're here to provide that. So if I could be of any assistance to share or highlight something of yours to hopefully benefit you financially, I'm here for that. And adopting long-term value creation models. Okay, is it, it's not all about flipping. Yeah, I think people get so caught up in flipping. What about holding properties long term, looking at the tax advantages, having a good property management person in place, helping somebody with affordable housing, right? There's also property depreciation too, and depreciation. Leveraging strategic relationships and networking. I never depend on one sole person for my business. I'd be bankrupt. Okay. I'm always meeting the next person. I'm always following up with the person I just met. Consistency and continuity. And adapting to market conditions and global trends. I mean, listen, this is nothing new from 2008. This is nothing new from 1992. This is nothing new from the late 70s, early 80s. All these economic trends have been the worst times of all times. You just got to be a chameleon and be resilient. Mr. Dave Injemi, good morning and welcome. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to our discussion this morning: transformational moments in real estate investing.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, transformational moments. So when Joe said that, it kind of reminded me of the journey I've been on for the last 15 years. I've kind of summarized it, and it's an example of, and I'm going to use it as an analogy. You could potentially transfer it over to your investing strategies. So it's an example of changing with the times, being strategic, and being creative. And I think that's something everybody needs to do when things change, markets change, and things like that. So I had a great career as a wholesale, what they call a wholesale lender back before 2008. And then the crash happened, the market crash, and I got strategic and again got creative. And I didn't do something totally separate out of the industry to supplement like some people do. Joe mentioned a zookeeper. There's some people doing solar now in addition to lending, and things just totally unrelated. But when things got tough, I decided to just create extra value for my already existing clients. So I went and I got a title insurance license, and then I was able to help them with not only lending, but also title insurance. And I focused on that primarily until the Dodd-Frank Act right around 2014. Then I was getting a lot of refinances at the time as a vendor. When that happened, I started to focus more and more on real estate agents, getting business from them. And that was going, building that up. That was going well for a while. And then COVID happened. When COVID happened, everybody, took a beating after the 2020 surge. So I decided to add even extra value and go get my property and casualty license. So then I was able to offer homeowners insurance to my clients and also appeal to the end user. So I wasn't just relying on real estate agents anymore. So it's just an example of being creative, sticking with your specialty, which is real estate, and being flexible, and strategic, and trying to change with the times. And along those lines, I'm going to give one more example of how you should really focus on having some people to go to as property investors that are real resources for you. So yesterday, a woman called me. I had met her literally about a month ago at a real estate investor event, and she reached out to me for some pricing on a potential property, which I gave her. And then yesterday she called in a panic, and she was asking for the contact information for the person running that group. I didn't have it on me, but I said I could give it to her. I could get it for her, but I asked her to give me a call and let me know what was going on. So she made an offer on a property. It got accepted, but she doesn't have any funding and not even for the down payment. So she really was overzealous. I had referred her to, Joe had mentioned the unsecured lines of credit with MB Capital. She's got a little problem on a collection from years ago. So the person she was trying to reach is a contractor. He may or may not be able to help her, but I'm really glad I talked to her because I'm going to put in about 20 calls to try to get her a solution between now and the end of the day tomorrow. So I may not come up with the final solution for her, but she talked to one person who's a resource in the industry, and I'm going to be able to make several calls to several experts for her on her behalf with no charge to her. So that's just an example of get some power partners if you're a property investor, whether they're people like Joe, anybody speaking on this call, or whether it's somebody you meet at an event you go to, and utilize them. I don't see enough property investors utilizing the resources they have at their disposal, whether it's for lending, title, insurance, anything. What Bob does in the accounting and finance world, any resource you can get to, just utilize as much as possible, and you'll jumpstart your property investing portfolio. And I'll leave it at that.
Dave, thank you. And it's funny, you're bringing some light bulbs off the top of my head thinking about this. Here at Creative Birth Strategies Podcast and House, we offer podcasting sources where you could actually be interviewed and get some video content. We could do clips for you. We can get you in front of whoever you need to get in front of. You can come up here and I could interview you. You know what I mean? Take a few minutes. You have to have a transformation in 2025 as a real estate agent. It's all working against you if you don't. All right. You're just making things difficult. Are you trying to recruit? Are you trying to recruit a team? Are you trying to get more leads? I had 2 real estate agents that were with me the entire day yesterday. And they're like, Joe, how do we get more leads? So I said, well, let me ask you a question. I said, are you at the right real estate office? And they got quiet. I said, you're managing 20, 30 properties right now. Do you want to get more into a maintenance environment to offer maintenance services to landlords? Because landlords hang out with other landlords, and then the referral business comes in, the phone rings more, there's opportunities to list properties or buy properties. Or do you want to just buy lists and buy cash buyer lists and out-of-state landlord lists that are people buying properties in your immediate market? I mean, these are all good questions, right? And they had some answers for some, and they had no answers for the others. And sometimes it just takes some constructive discussion. And we had all day. And I think we all walked away where there's some synergies and some ideas, potential introductions. And I think if you want to be real estate investor friendly, you need to embrace it. You can't kind of go halfway in, halfway out as a real estate agent or a service or as an investor. You got to be full time into it in mindset. And obviously, you have a job position as well. You got to just balance it accordingly. But I think leveraging your power team or being open to the possibilities of expanding your power team is important. That's why, I was pushed back into holding events because people are like, hey, Joe, remember when you used to have this? Or Joe, remember you used to have that? And, post stroke, I just was like, I'll just sponsor other people's events. I'll support other people's events. And then the podcast came around and discussions and then workshops and the CE accreditation came back where people wanted me to teach the CE. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to go full blown. I'm going to sponsor events. I'm going to participate in providing insight and trend activity. I'm going to make introductions for people. I'm going to leverage them automatically on social media. Like every person here that has not been interviewed by me on my podcast, or we've not done a podcast together to highlight and promote your business, You're 30 minutes away from having some really great video content and me interviewing you to find out who you are, what you do, and what can you provide to others, right? And I'm not charging any of that. We're going to clip that and get it out there for you. That's transformation. The only person you're talking to on that video is somebody else, one on one. You're not talking to thousands of people. Right here, I'm talking to, this is going to be recorded, downloaded, and hundreds and thousands of people are going to review this post production and edit by Yardell, right? So I have to be somewhat cautious in how I say things, but a lot of this is unedited. So I have to, you have to be quick-witted in this industry. You got to, if you're not leveraging video content or a virtual assistant or enhancing social media presence, uh, the proper professional picture, the proper profile identification of who you are, what you do. You need to think about that. You got to embrace it. You got to refine your digital marketing and social media skills. You got to expand your digital footprint with different platforms. It's not all about Facebook. It's about all of it. Have you ever done a Google search on yourself and say, "Hey, my gosh, I haven't worked at that company in 10 years. What the hell is that still up on there?" Offer personalized services. Identify that shoehorn that's going to separate you from the rest of the herd. Focus on relationships and engagement. When anybody engages with me on a LinkedIn article, I engage back. I don't want to leave them hanging. Offer value beyond the transaction. Most people, hang on 1 second here. Most people don't do the follow-up post-closing. I always reach out to my clients and say, hey, is there anything I can do for you? Is there management? Do you need a contractor? Do you need a maintenance group? Get involved. And then also get involved with the community. I went to a grand opening on Friday, met the mayor of my town, never met him before, and a councilman. We had a great conversation. Coincidentally, they're both in real estate. Isn't that funny? And coincidentally, they know my brother-in-law. They know my mother-in-law. Oh my gosh, we had a great conversation. We're going to have follow-up discussions. And I said, listen, there's an opportunity where I could sponsor something in the community. Let me know. Here's my card. And you got to continually invest in continuous learning and personal growth. Staying updated with the market trends. Does everybody in this room know what the market rate closed on Friday at? You should. 6.72, right? What are the DOMs in your market on listings right now? Where is rental market going in your market right now? Where's migration going in your market? Are there jobs coming? Is there any announcements? How about being mentoring or coached? I'm coached to this day since coming into asset-based lending environment. After I left the regulated bank industry, I decided to retain a coach, and we have discussions on a month-to-month basis, incorporating these strategies. Whether you're an agent, a lender, investor, a wholesaler, service provider, you got to become more efficient and attract new business in a rapidly evolving market. The key is to stay flexible, tech savvy, and client focused while being proactive in adapting to future trends. Good morning, Felix. Welcome. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to our discussion, transformational moments in real estate investing. And it was great seeing you also a couple weeks ago in Baltimore.
Yes, it was. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, everybody. Felix Buchanan Sr. I do real estate and such in Baltimore, Houston, Carolinas, a couple other different states, the DMV in general. I do credit repair, business funding, rehabbing, property management, tenant placement. I'm a former real estate agent from 2005 to 2019. What I would say are big transformational moments, at least for me, were my losses in real estate. I felt like when I was investing, that's where I learned the best lessons. I didn't learn the greatest lessons, obviously, from when you hit home runs or you win, because when you're winning, you're not looking at the different things that could go wrong or why I went wrong or what was wrong in that transaction. You already look at it like, hey, I won and, everything's good. I learned a lot just from the factor that things that you just don't pay attention to, whether doing your scope of work for a rehab, that was just one lesson I learned. I think the rehab I had it at about 30,000. It ended up being because of some things that we've seen with an attachment to the house, things that were structurally wrong with the underlining of it, just different things that I didn't pay enough attention to because of all the wins that I had. The losses kind of really set me up to really learn more about what I was involved in, because it started, obviously, it's going to make you then pay more attention to what it is that you're doing, like Bob mentioned earlier in the call. Things that you just don't account for, things that will just become unforeseen, because if you've never done it and you don't have the proper mentor or you don't have the proper coach, they're not going to tell you to look for these things. I just did a walkthrough with a newbie, but Joe, I met one of the ladies I met at the RIA. So she wanted me to come through and take a look at the property. So she's explaining to me that, they're going to put a bathroom in the room here and they're going to do this like this. And I had to ask her, like, well, that's not going to be aesthetically pleasing when you're looking to sell the property. And she's like, well, the contractors that I talked to before, they didn't even tell me that. Exactly, because they're just contractors. They just coming in to do the job that you're asked for, where with my experience being a former real estate agent, wholesaling, doing these many rehabs, I have an assortment of business knowledge in different areas, which that helps culminate to why I would invest in this area, why I wouldn't invest in this area, why I would invest in this property, why I wouldn't. And that particular tradesperson is just going to be specifically focused on what their trade is. They're not thinking about when you got to sell the property, and then if it's not aesthetically pleasing, either you're going to lose that money on the back end because that new investor is going to account for having to bring the property back to where it's going to be pleasing for them, or you're going to end up losing some of your investment money because now you have to, do the property in a way that it's going to be a manner that it's going to be saleable after. So I gave her and her partner a lot of great insight from that standpoint of things that they weren't even thinking about, that she left there with what I tell everyone. I'm big on whomever I speak to every day, in any moment, in any sector. I don't even care if I go to Wendy's. It's just providing value to people in general, especially, when it deals with real estate. I love it. I love the business that I'm in. I love real estate. There's nothing about it that I really don't like. Other than, there are people that you babysit adults, is what I call it, especially when you're dealing with rental clients. But beyond that, I would say transformational going into 2025, because of if you're not providing value with education, different things of that nature, then this is the market that weeds out the people that are not on point, that are not doing the homework, that are not providing extra levels of value. This will weed those people out. They won't be in business because people are going to want to deal with the experts or deal with the person that's really going to put them in a position to win. And that's it for me.
Well, hey, Felix, I really appreciate that, because I think you and I are talking to the same person, because she came to me with a very lopsided deal, and it's in a tougher area of Baltimore. And I was like, listen, we're not going to be able to get this thing done. You don't have the experience. Your credit score is kind of on the edge. And I probably would think of a lesser lopsided deal. I think it was the woman it was somebody that you were sitting next to. She was when you were at the table. She was there. She was at the same table as you.
You're talking about the realtor lady?
No, she was across from you.
Okay, yeah, I know you're talking about that.
It wasn't the same person?
No. This one is a different lady.
Okay. So, but what's really funny? You and I hadn't seen each other probably in 14 years, right?
Right.
We went right like peanut butter and jelly back in that room, like it was just like yesterday. We were hanging out at an event, and we worked that room like true networkers. We were going back and forth, getting people to focus on what we were discussing, and then leading it into other interjections with the gentleman that was speaking. I thought that was pretty cool, though. We worked that room pretty smart. I think we literally got to talk to every single person in that room within the same 60 minutes.
Yep. And the value that we provided is, I still spoke to everybody, and everybody that I spoke to after, and or helping a few of them with their real estate investments. Because like you said, there's no way that I don't kill that room because of my experience. I had more experience than the dude that was running them.
And he was a nice young man, but he was definitely newer in the business.
it was an experience to answer any of the questions that which made it the highlight of us of the room because we had the experience. We answered everything, every and anything that they stated. We had an answer for or have experienced it. So it just made it that we dominated that meeting.
Yeah,
like you said, like peanut butter and jelly.
it was pretty funny. I mean, and again, I actually like the gentleman that ran it, Ike. He's a really nice young man, and he's trying. So, like, I didn't want to I never want to put somebody like throw them under the bus when they're really trying to give back. And I feel like he was really trying to give back. And then Dave, who's the owner of that RIA, he's a very nice guy, but he's a businessman. He's just trying to run it as a business. So he allowed Ike to kind of talk about coaching and transformational stuff for your business and stuff. So it was good that I think Ike overall appreciated that we were involved because a lot of people just stayed quiet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I appreciate that. And from that, Felix, learning from mistakes is a crucial part of growing as a real estate investor. And even the most successful investors face setbacks. Now, you're not playing real estate agent anymore, but you're playing kind of like consultant in a way, a little more dynamic from the lending and the real estate, investing space. What have you seen different for you in the last couple of years in the business compared to 10, 15 years ago when we first met?
One, pricing, and just to interject that I'm actually a team leader of a real estate company because my business partner is a broker.
Okay.
So I take on a team leader role. So I'm still involved with real estate agents, just not one myself. But I would say pricing, I would say just the wherewithal of people gaining the education of the business. I think that because people feel like, oh, I could just get money, let me just jump into this without getting the proper education. And then they get burnt or something happens and then oh man, that contractor sucked. But like you were saying earlier, like, what do you know about what it is that you're doing? And they lack the information. And some people just really will run with that and just don't say, hey, well, I don't know what it is that I'm doing, but I got the money and that's all that matters. And that would be a huge one to me.
Well, thank you, Felix, and thank you for your insight and being on here in a consistent manner. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to jump into I think one of the bigger mistakes is failing to do thorough research. Okay, not doing enough research on the market, the property values, neighborhood trends can lead to poor investment choices. This might result in overpaying for a property or investing in an area with declining values. Number two, I think underestimating repair and renovation costs. Many investors make the mistake of underestimating their costs and repairs of renovations, leading to unexpected financial strain. Number three, also ignoring cash flow and ROI. Focusing too much on appreciation, neglecting the cash flow is a common pitfall. Even if the property appreciates in value, if it doesn't generate steady income, the investment can be draining on the long term. Over leveraging. Over leveraging by borrowing too much money to finance properties is risky. If the market drops and the rental income is lower than expected, you might struggle to cover debt payments. Not having an exit strategy. Many investors buy in properties without a clear exact exit strategy, whether you plan to flip, rent, or sell. Not having a plan can lead to costly decisions. Ignoring property management needs. Failing to account for property management or attempting to handle it all yourself can lead to issues such as tenant turnover, maintenance delays, and legal troubles. Chasing the shiny objects and following trends. Some investors are tempted to jump into the latest real estate trends, such as short-term rental, without understanding the market or risk involved. A lot of people think, midterm rentals make sense, but they're not even evaluating what hospitals nearby where you can get traveling nurses. Like they're just saying things and not kind of following through with things. And then obviously neglecting legal and regulatory considerations. Failing to fully understand local laws and regulations can result in expensive fines, lawsuits, or having to make costly changes to a property. So we had 20 people on our caravan tour yesterday. I asked every single person, I asked them what market they're focusing on. And then I said, when's the last time you gone to a zoning meeting? And nobody raised their hand. No one's been to a zoning meeting. No one knows what zoning laws look like or building codes or tax implications look like, or what a real estate attorney does at a zoning meeting. None of them has been to one. They wouldn't even know where to go when it's scheduled. And then there's emotional decision making. Letting emotion guide your decisions, such as buying a property because you fall in love with it, can cloud your judgment and lead to the poor investment choices. Like I told my investors yesterday, you fall in like with a property, not you don't fall in love with a property. Okay. Not building a strong team is another thought. Trying to do everything on your own without building a reliable team of professionals can be overwhelming and lead to mistakes. You need to reflect on your experiences. You need to learn from others, and you don't need to be afraid of failing. Mistakes are an inevitable part of the learning process, and it's how you respond to and learn from those mistakes will determine your long-term success. Hey, Dave, Joe Scarice again here, tuning in with you. Do you have any final thought? Yeah, any thoughts before you roll out? I know you're leaving for a christening.
No, thanks, Joe. No, that kind of sums up what I wanted to add to the conversation. I did put my contact information in the chat. If anybody would like to reach out to me for anything at all, feel free anytime. I'll be available.
Thanks, Dave.
All right.
Good morning, Ginger. Good seeing you yesterday on the caravan tour. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to the discussion, transformational moments in real estate investing.
Hi, I'm Ginger. I'm a want to be a real estate investor. I have one property, but I'm trying to go further than that. And even though I feel like I've been trying to learn everything, I just wanted to kind of comment on what you said about the zoning meetings. I was on the caravan yesterday, and I do feel like I felt like most of the people were kind of newbies or trying to break into this area. I mean, I wouldn't even know what to do or say or even listen to at a zoning meeting. And I think that's kind of half of the problem there, right? I mean, sometimes I wouldn't even if they were talking and you understand, like you don't understand how it fits to you. So, I mean, I think I think when people have a lot of knowledge and they understand neighborhoods and they understand that you need to research it, and I think that we forget that the people, it all is so overwhelming, and we forget that people don't even know to do that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like where I am right now, kind of like frustration of like not understanding sometimes even when people talk about, and things. So that's where I am.
Well, Ginger, one, I owe you a couple emails because I got your text. And two, it was a pleasure having you on the tour. And then three, I was trying to give insight to ideas to go. I mean, like, I know nobody ever went to a zoning meeting other than myself and I think one other person. But the first couple of zoning meetings, I just sat there and listened and watched and just became a sponge to see who was winning and why, who was losing and why, what was the board makeup. Was there somebody that I could relate to and go up and have a conversation with as a follow-up when the meeting dispersed? I wasn't saying that kind of understanding all from day one, but you probably would need to go to a couple zoning meetings in the market that you're focusing in on to better understand the mindset of the market that you're trying to focus in on. So I thought the zoning meeting would be a good way to see who are the active players in the market, who are the active lawyers in the market, what is being done in a renovation or development perspective, and how will that impact your buying and your appetite for deals, and how will that impact your bottom line from a rental perspective. That's what I was trying to get across at that moment of talking about the zoning meeting. If that makes any sense.
Thank you. Yeah, because it's very overwhelming to think about all these things and not really feel like you're understanding it for yourself, so.
You only eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure, Ginger. Bob, some final thoughts to our discussion this morning on transformational moments in real estate investing.
I think listening to everybody, and you were talking about I liked what you just said, Joe. You fall in like with the property, not in love with the property, because and we're all guilty of it as business owners at some point or another. It's happened. You make a decision sometimes based on an emotional feeling or a gut, rather than on the practical information that's in front of you. We're all guilty of it. We've all done it. But when we're talking about real estate, you're talking about a six-figure purchase. So it's a big whoops if you buy into the wrong one. But the most important thing when you're looking at when when you're looking at making important decisions, and when you have, shall we say, one of those teaching or learning moments, either in real estate, in your business, or in life in general, is sometimes you just have to take a moment, take a breath, and look at the bigger picture of what's going on. It's almost like you're playing a chess match. You're not only just anticipating your next move, but the move after that, the move after that, the move after that. It's easy to get caught up in the moment and just get into a rhythm, but as Joe was telling you about his own personal situations, and Joe can tell you that I went through a few right before he did. Sometimes life's just going to throw stuff at you, and it's not so much the fact that it gets thrown at you; it's how you handle it that matters. And that's the best advice I can give on that is just, take it as it comes, or as he says, one bite at a time. And Joe, just as a note, guys, I'll be opening up a special room right after this one when it closes. So watch for that.
Good stuff. Yeah, I said, listen, I think the whole industry itself is very overwhelming because of so much being thrown at everybody, whether it's a RIA meeting, whether it's an investor group meeting, whether it's YouTube, whether it's your Facebook. You're seeing all these people making claims, doing this, giving this advice, giving this suggestion. Focus on one day at a time what's in front of you and the opportunity that presents itself. One deal at a time. How many properties you got to buy at the same time? One. How many properties do you need to renovate at the same time if you're a newer investor? One. Right now, if you're a newer investor or you're an agent trying to, reset yourself in 2025, you need to expand your power team. You need to build more relationships because the more the relationships, the more the opportunities. Okay. So my platform is wide and thick because I've worked on that over time. But that doesn't mean I'm out there doing that. I mean, did I have to go haul myself all around all these houses between 9 and 3 with a bunch of investors? No. But did I enjoy it? Absolutely. Did I enjoy there was newer investors in attendance? It was great. I loved the ideas of all the questions and thoughts and the reasons why. And I understand the overwhelming feeling. We've all been there, but you got to just kind of breathe through your heart and kind of just breathe out and say, hey, kid, listen, this is all going to work itself through if I surround myself with the right people. Your confidence level and your competence level will increase. You don't want to hang out with people not as smart as you. You want to hang out with smart, sharp people, relevant or smarter than you in their fields, because that's going to allow you to grow and prosper as a real estate professional. If you're a newer investor listening below, when you walk into a room, never again you should say, hey, I'm a new investor. You should go, hey, hi, my name is Joe. I'm a real estate professional. I'm looking for opportunities investing in real estate. Project positivity in front of you for every single opportunity and become consistent and confident and continuous with all that. And all these transformations will come together, whether you decide as a real estate investor you want to be an agent, as well as maybe a title agent, maybe a property casualty agent, maybe you want to do some wholesaling, you want to invest in a couple of properties, you want to do a couple of partnerships, wherever your comfort level leads you to. Felix, any final thoughts to transformational moments in real estate investing?
My final thoughts would be figure out what your niche is, figure out what you want to do in real estate investing, as was mentioned earlier, whether it's going to be single family homes, row homes, ranchers, mobile homes, whatever it is that you figure out what you want to do. Network, definitely build a power team. Networking is key because you're going to network with some people that are just going to be BS. And because you're new, there are people that just look to take advantage of that. So just make sure that you truly listen to what it is that they're saying. Make sure that they understand what it is that they're doing, and get as much education as possible. It's so much more information available to people now. Social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, there's just so many opportunities. And just something that you said earlier, Joe, people do want to know about your personal life. And so they do ask your personal opinion on social media. They are more interested, even if you're a professional in this new era, they want to see that when you went out and you was eating crabs with your family or you went to your daughter's, they want to see that information on social media. Just FYI.
Yeah, I think there's a character reference to personal information, but you just got to be cautious. Like being, I would stay away from certain things just to be cautious because you want to stay kind of neutral in whatever out with family or friends at an event, enjoying oneself and camaraderie. I think that hits home for a lot of people. People could feel relevance to that, and I agree with you, Felix. There's just some other things that you got to just be careful of promoting. I see some different professionals talking negative about a past endeavor with a client or a closing. That's all unnecessary fodder. You don't really need to do that. Talk about all the positive stuff that came from everything. Like to me, was there some interesting things that happened yesterday at the caravan tour? Yeah, sure. Everybody has an opinion, everybody has a thought, but you know what? Overall, everybody was great. Everybody was involved, everybody was engaged, everybody asked questions. There was insightful discussions. I think the real estate market is vast, and I think many investors find success by focusing on specific niches and align with their goals and expertise and risk tolerance.
Yeah.
You know, um, I just think we're in such an exciting time. But if you're starting out, and I think you would agree that it's important to choose a niche that aligns with your financial goals, your risk tolerance, and the amount of time and effort you're willing to invest. And as your experience grows, you may find opportunities to diversify into multiple niches, right?
Just understanding that it's just not, because I want to make money. When I
Yeah.
first got into real estate, I wanted to be an REO agent. When I went and studied under Pat Hobben and studied under these great REO agents, Barbara Purdue, Mike Fireball, I understood that that's not what I wanted to do. I actually wanted to do a different level of investing. But if I didn't go research or go around the people that were experts at it, then I could have got tricked to believing, because they explained, oh no, you're responsible for the BG&E bills, you're responsible for this, and then the bank, they're not even going to actually pay you all the monies when everything gets settled. So then you run into a situation where now you're holding monies for these banks and these properties that you only made this amount of money. No, thank you. I don't want to be involved in that. And there are things that were started even when I started doing real estate, like short sales and foreclosures about to come back real heavy that people should be prepared for, and you'll get pick a litters of property. Going to the courthouses will allow you to get access to these properties even faster than any list, and it's free. Or sometimes that particular courthouse, depending on your state, might charge you $10 or $5 for those lists. Being creative in this market is great, but for us that have been in the game for a while, there are things that are coming back where I learned short sale all those years ago, and now I see how it can benefit a lot of clients now, because I just helped the client and we were able to buy the property because she don't owe nothing for her. She owes nothing on the mortgage. She was able to get it wiped out, and it's not on her credit, and the property sold. So the bank's happy because now they don't have to worry about pre-foreclosures, none of that. An investor was already right there to scoop it up. So there's just different strategies that I know that I've used when I was first in the business that I can utilize now, along with the sub two, along with seller financing. There's just so many. Rent to own would be a great option right now in this particular market. There's just so many different things that you could do, but if you don't learn about all of them, then you don't know what options are available to you. Just fortunate I've been involved in pretty much all of them.
Well, thank you, Felix, and you still got that baby face. So great, I love that. Somebody kept the baby. Somebody kept the baby face out of us too. You know what I mean? So it's all good. So thank you, Felix. And I want to thank our sponsors today. I want to thank Mr. Yardell Perkins of Perkatech. I want to thank Miss Linda Pelagas of Realty 411. I'd like to thank MB Capital Solutions, where I'm a referral partner providing unsecured business lines of credit. I'd like to thank Lendmark, where I'm a senior loan analyst providing nationwide asset-based lending. I want to thank TCS Property Management Services, where my licenses are held for New Jersey and Pennsylvania, offering management services in multiple markets throughout the country. I would like to thank Elite Dealmakers to our new alliance with events here in the Northeast and New Jersey and South and North Jersey, Philadelphia, as well as Lehigh Valley. And looking forward to the Elite Dealmakers convention this week. If you're down in Virginia, love to meet with you, grab coffee, have a chat. We're here every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, providing education, networking, and strategy with a different educational subject every single week. We're hovering toward our 100th episode. Just got past 95, so I'm real excited about that. Please join Bob in the next room as well. And my quote this morning: I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. Stephen Covey. Have a great week. Be well. Take care of yourself. I'll be ending the room in the next 30 seconds. And thank you.
Everybody have a great Sunday.